Hello friends, welcome back to math class. So you're going to have a test next week on Monday, and I just want to make sure that we have a review video so that you understand the different kinds of problems that you're going to see on the test. So to start with, we're going to start down here with our light green problem. So in this problem, I've been given a rectangle. I know one side length, but I do not know the other side length. In this problem, I would need to identify what number this should be. Now remember, when you're finding the steps for something like that, it's always a good idea to remind yourself how we would find the perimeter of this shape. I know that my perimeter equals all of my sides added together, which in this case is 4. So I know my perimeter will be side plus side plus side plus side, 4 sides. Now, I don't know this side, but I do know this side. So I know that, and I also know my perimeter. They told us that our perimeter is 20 meters. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna plug in the numbers that I know. Now I do know this side length is 8. And if this side length is 8, I know that this side is also 8 meters because rectangles have equal opposite sides. So both of my sides will be equal, and then my top and my bottom will be equal. So I know 8 plus 8 plus my 2 sides that I don't know. So the first step, remember, is to add up what I know. 8 plus 8 equals 16. So I know my perimeter equals 16 plus my 2 sides that I don't know. So now what I have to do is get rid of what I do know to figure out what's left over. So here, I'm going to subtract my 16. So that's 20 minus 16. 20 minus 16 equals 4. But I am not done yet. No. Because this 4 has to be split up into my 2 sides. I don't just have one side that I don't know, I have 2. So now I need to take that 4 and I need to divide it by my 2 sides. Now, whenever you're doing this step, you can always use your 2 circles. Divide 4 into 2, okay? I've got my 2 circles, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many are in each? There are 2. So I know my missing side length is 2 meters. So the answer to this light green question would be 2 meters. All right, let's move on to this red problem here. Now for this one, they have given me a shape, but they are asking me to find my perimeter, P, and my area, A. Now we've done this sort of thing before when we were finding the area of irregular shapes, but it's been a while, so I'll remind you. So whenever we're finding the perimeter, what do we have to do? That's right, we have to add up all of our side lengths. So I'm just going to go ahead and find my perimeter first. Oh, here, I'll switch our colors so that I don't get my math confused. Wow, big change in colors, Miss Ingram, well done. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to add up all of my sides. I've got 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3. Now I'm just going to double check, make sure that I had all of my sides. Here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. All right, so now I'm going to break down this problem in whatever way makes sense to me to start solving it. So I've got 1 plus 2. I'll start with that. I know that 1 plus 2 equals 3. Here I also have 2 plus 1, commutative property. 2 plus 1 also equals 3. And then I have these other 3's that I can just drop down. So I've got 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Now I'm going to use the strategy of skip counting to help me, but if you would have broken it down into 2 smaller and then added them up, do what's right in your spirit. So I'm going to skip count 3, 6, 9, 12. So I know my perimeter equals 12. Now they didn't tell me what the name of my units are, so I know that my perimeter is just going to be 12 units. So here I've answered part A, what is my perimeter? But now I need to find what is my area. So looking at this shape, what is the very first thing I'm going to have to do to figure out my area? That's right, I'm gonna need to cut it into pieces. Now, there are a couple of ways that I could do this, but for me it makes most sense to just cut it into the two shapes like this. Now from here, all I have to do is find the area of each one of my little tiny quadrilaterals that I have created, and then I will add them up at the end. So first I have to figure out the area for this section. So I'm gonna look at my side lengths, once for my length and one for my width. Now remember, friends, you have to make sure you are choosing the sides that go all the way across. So if I were to try to use 2 here, why would that be wrong? That's right, 2 would be incorrect to use for my area because it only goes this far. It doesn't go all the way across my entire shape. So to find my area of this quadrilateral, I would do 1 times 3. And 1 times 3 equals 3. That's right, my identity property, it's like looking in a mirror, it sees itself. So next up, I need to find the area of this shape right here. Now, once again, I always recommend tracing or outlining your long edges just to double check yourself. So for my area, I need to make sure that the top and the bottom, yep, that 1 goes all the way across, so I'm good. And here, this 2, it goes all the way across, so I'm good there too. Why can't I use this 3? I can't use the 3 because 3 goes this whole area. And when I cut up my shapes, I wanted it to stop right here. So I know I will not be using that 3. So for the area of this section, I have 1 times my 2. And 1 times 2, I've got my identity property again, equals 2. Now what would be my last step to find the area of this shape? That's right, I need to add up the areas that I've found. So to find my area here, I just need to do 2, my area of my top quadrilateral, plus 3, the area of my sideways quadrilateral. And I know that my whole area is 2 plus 3, 5. Now once again, we didn't know our units here, so I know that it's just 5 square units. So reminder, friends, perimeter, just the units, because we are just counting around the outside. We don't mess with squares at all. It's when we're finding the area, the squarea, if you will, that we use that square units. So remember, square only for area. Perimeter is just the unit by itself. So here for my perimeter for this shape, we found a perimeter of 12 and an area of 5 square units. Okie dokie. Moving right along to this green problem up here. Now, I see a shape that has many different side lengths listed, but I've got a missing side length. Now, unlike our light green problem over here, I was not given a perimeter. So I'm going to have to figure out how to find this missing side length in a different way. Now, I notice that this is a vertical line. That means it goes up and down. So what I'm going to do to try and figure out what this line is I'm going to trace all of the vertical up and down lines, and I'm going to see, are there any lines that go the whole way of the entire shape? Now here's this vertical line. Does this go the whole shape? Nope. Does this go the whole shape? Nope. It's just this side over here. However, this side, zoop-a-doo-doo-doo, does go the entire length of this shape from top to bottom. So now I see that I've got this one whole piece and then I have these 2 smaller pieces. However, if I take this piece and in my imagination, I move it over, I can see that these lines added up together equal this line right here. That means this side plus this side will equal my entire vertical line. So that means my total, 10 inches, equals my missing number that I don't know, blank, plus, I see my other side length over here is 7. So I know that something plus 7 inches will equal 10 inches. Y'all know me, my favorite, one of my favorite strategies is counting up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and count up from 7 to 10 and see what should go in this blank. 7, 8, 9, 10, 3. So that tells me that this missing side length should be 3 inches. And that would be my answer. So remember, whenever you're doing this, you just need to find the whole side and find your pieces of your sides, and you add up your pieces to equal the whole. Now, the last kind of problem that I just very quickly wanted to review is if they give you a shape, in this instance, a trapezoid, and they give us a perimeter. They also gave us some side lengths here. I see my perimeter is 30 feet, and they gave me 3 side lengths, 5 feet, 10 feet, and 6 feet. Now here it's asking me to find my missing side. What would that missing side length be? So unlike over here, I do know my perimeter, so I can use what I know to help me figure it out. Now notice, this problem didn't include a picture. That, for me, is very confusing, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw a picture of what I know a trapezoid looks like. I'm just gonna go with a normal trapezoid. I'm not gonna make it one of the fancy or irregular ones. I'm not trying to confuse myself here. So they gave me 3 of the side lengths, so I'm just gonna go ahead and label them. It doesn't matter if my labels are exactly right. This is just to help me visualize, to see the problem. Here I'll put my 5 feet, this one I'll put 10 feet, this one over here 6 feet. Now I know there's a missing side because I know trapezoids have 4 sides, but they only gave us 3 side lengths. So we know we only have to find 1 missing side length right here. So if I know that my perimeter equals 30 feet, and I also know that perimeter equals side plus side plus side plus side, side plus side plus side plus side, I always like to start off by writing out the formula because that's a great way to help me make sure that I understand the steps that I'm following. And now I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the information that I know. I know my perimeter is 30 feet. Remember that little tick means 30, or I'm sorry, it doesn't mean 30, it means feet. So here I know 30 feet equals my side length here, 5 feet, plus 10 feet, plus 6 feet. Now I still have my missing side, so I'm just gonna fill that in just so that I remember. And now I'm gonna add up what I know already. 5 plus 10 equals 15, plus 6 equals, I'm gonna count up just to make sure, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I know the side lengths that I already know are 21 feet. So my whole perimeter is 30 feet. I know 30 equals 21 feet plus my missing side. So now I have to figure out, okay, how can I figure this out? So we used a counting up method to help us before, so let's actually go ahead and use subtraction just for this one. So here I'm gonna subtract what I know, 21, from my whole perimeter to find what's missing. 30 minus 21. Now, whenever I'm subtracting, I always ask myself, can I take this number away from this one? So can I take 1 away from 0? I cannot. Miss Ingram, what am I supposed to do? Oh yeah, I have to borrow. So I'm gonna go over here to my 3. I'm gonna borrow a 10. I'm gonna leave behind 2. And I'm gonna sneaky Pete my 1 right in there. So now I know I've got 10 minus 1. Well, I know 10 minus 1 equals 9. And then 2 minus 2 equals